One of his directors is my uncle, and he came to visit me and told me I couldn't speak. Many of you here, if he comes in here, apart from the fact that he has a very famous face, you won't even know. The number of people he's employing, the wealth that is creating, fertilizer, I mean, it's just incredible. Power, so many things. One Nigeria like you, like me.
Who has seen opportunities where the rest of us have seen problems.
Pray that God will open your eyes to opportunities.
Amen.
Pray that when he opens your eyes to them, he'll teach you what to do. If you have those two, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
Okay. We have a question here about, some people will say during a period of recession, people should not take loan. But other people say, why is this period the best time to actually take loan? And then wrap it up with, every recession backs a new set of millionaires or billionaires. Can you explain, how does this happen? The recession fuels, this fuels money generation. So why is it the best time to take a loan? And then why is it the best time that we should be looking forward to more billionaires?
Okay. I spoke at a webinar about a week ago, and present also were bankers. And I said, look, I was speaking, I said, it's a difficult period to take a loan, but I put a proviso. If you are not making enough to pay it back. Fortunately, one of the people
Thank you, Mr. Lulu Akinwumi, for a very beautiful presentation. For the sake of those who joined us halfway, I would like to give a small summary of what he had presented. He has put together a summary of its about 38 years to 39 years of working as a management trainee. And he has summed it up in terms of building one of the biggest advertising agencies or marketing communication organization in Africa. And he spoke extensively about his journey for entrepreneurship and how he has succeeded in getting to this level. And he wants us as healthcare practitioners, in particular community pharmacists, to find ways within which you can actually connect with the principles that has helped him to build this conglomerate. He spoke about the need for focus. When we learn to focus on the most important focus or priorities of life and of our business, we will also become the focus. What that implies is we need to find ways to be specific, not to be jack of all trade and master of none. Secondly, he spoke about the value of teamwork. And he cited the example that no matter how good you are, you cannot be everything. So you need the support of other people, other stakeholders to work with you. You cannot be a lone ranger and eventually become the most successful person as an entrepreneur. He spoke about the need for calculated risk. Yes, every day we are exposed to risk, but we must find a way to have a calculated risk. That means weigh the risk, identify the opportunities. There's a statement that says, in every challenge there's an opportunity. So look beyond the challenge that you are seeing. He spoke about the value of self-confidence. Even though in the introduction, I did not mention the fact that he's also a pastor of one of the biggest Pentecostal churches. But yet, he's able to speak about the value of self-confidence. That means God has endowed each and every one of us with some level of good things. Some will call it talent. Some will say Holy Ghost gifts. Some will call it special gifts. Whatever it is that God has endowed you with, find a way to build confidence around those things and build knowledge, build skill, build the right attitude. As Mr. Integrity, I would have been surprised if he did not speak about honesty. He spoke extensively about the need for honesty. Honesty may slow you down initially, but over a period of time, it will promote you. Honesty has helped him in growing in an industry that was renowned for many unethical practices, and yet his own company was able to raise its head from ground zero to this level, to the zenith of that industry. He spoke about the need for connections. Your net worth is determined by your network. So, and you never know who is going to be important to you at one time or the other. And as you grow up and as you interact with people, including patients, it's important for you to show courtesy to each and every one of them. So build your connections. If there are 5 billionaires and you are the sixth to work with the 5 billionaires, over a period of time you become the sixth one. If you also work with 5 fools, over a period of time you become the sixth one. So build a connection and a network that's supposed to be synergistic to be helpful to you. Of course, as an expert in marketing and in branding, he spoke about the need for marketing, to share with the others the image, the favorable image. There's no product, no brand, no company that does not have its own weaknesses. But coincidentally, the weakness of a company could also be the strength of the company. Or the strength of a company could also be the weakness. The strength of Prima Garnet is in integrity. The weakness of Prima Garnet is integrity. So those who want to do business and they want kickbacks will not go for Prima Garnet. But those who have worked with various agencies and have collected kickbacks, but are now looking for somebody who will do the real job, they will go for it. And that's why he sits down and he will find out that people come all the way to look for him. He spoke on strategic partnership, the value of strategic partnership, the need for us to find partnership that will create synergy with us. He spoke about Starbucks and the use of free Wi-Fi. Luckily, Starbucks is not open in Nigeria. There will be about 1 million people queuing every day to be there. But it just shows that there are a lot of things we can do in our pharmacies. And there's nothing wrong with us partnering also with Wi-Fi providers at rates that will be good to enable people who come to our pharmacy to be able to have easy payment. Because when the Wi-Fi is good, paying by money transfer becomes faster, easier, and there are a lot of things we could do. There's nothing wrong with us partnering with other members of the healthcare industry. There's no law that says that we cannot partner. The problem is problem of ego. Yeah, if, for example, a doctor may not want to open a clinic inside a pharmacy, but it's enormous. And so we have seen the likes of Julie Pharmacy blazing the trail. In Julie Pharmacy building, there's pharmacy, there's supermarket, there's post office, there's laboratory service, medical laboratory, you can do tests, And then on the first floor, that's on the ground floor. On the first floor, a clinic is being opened. So there's nothing wrong with you partnering with other people in the same building so that prescriptions come to you. It becomes incremental to whatever you are supposed to do. And people will want to come to your place because even though they did not prepare to see a doctor originally, the mere fact that they could see a doctor becomes a plus, like his case. He spoke about as well, he said we should therefore look for growing opportunities in spite of the problems or challenges of COVID. He said we must be sure that every stakeholders in the partnership, what are they bringing onto the table? And it is nice to look for people who share similar principles and values with you. New opportunities do exist through partnership, and there's a need to raise awareness. It can create a synergy that increases the awareness on your own brand. I don't see a reason why a community pharmacy should not raise awareness about disease conditions. Disease conditions like, you have 52 weeks of the year. A week can be devoted to hypertension, another week to glaucoma, another week to trachoma, another week to essential hypertension, another week to lipidemia. And in all these cases, you can partner with those companies that are specialists in disease, in all these disease conditions, and they will sponsor a lot of awareness program. They will give free things. And because people know that there's something free each week that they can collect from your pharmacy, they come there. So these are the things we could do. He spoke about the need, therefore, for us to partner with other healthcare personnel. For example, he spoke about the value of succession planning. When he spoke about Udutola, Kingsway, UTC stores. And these are companies with very great brands. Why does Nigerian businesses not move from generation to generation? So there's a need for us to learn how to raise our business savvy, to identify the challenges of cash flow and debt profile that will mitigate against generational businesses. It therefore says we must find a way to build employee loyalty and expand ownership so that it's not just one-man business. I'm into several businesses. When I was in Pfizer, if anybody invites me and say, can you please come and be a partner in this business? Can you just come and be on our board? I say, no, I'm not interested. I don't want US to say he has distraction anywhere. I was not just an entrepreneur. As soon as I stepped out of Pfizer, I realized the fact that salary is what companies pay you so that you could remain a slave to them. Entrepreneurship is good. And there's a role for career. Joseph was just a great career person. And I used to use Joseph as an example. So I never believe I will ever be an entrepreneur. But my stepping out of Pfizer gave me a new mindset. If I don't want to start a business on my own, why don't I go into partnership? So I'm into partnership in about 12 different businesses today. And it will interest you that there's no conflict of interest whatsoever. Because I do not even visit some of the businesses for more than 5 years. As far as dividend is coming, profit sharing is coming, I will know that they are doing a good job. So pharmacists must not just believe that pharmacy is the only thing for them to make money. That's one. Pharma Alliance has proven to us that it's not only pharmacy. My mentor, Shino Okwanubi, look at the way he's making money everywhere. And so you don't need to really open a community pharmacy. So yes, I've got to give him. He has been giving me so much headache, so I have to announce it. So ask him to settle me before now he did it. So he spoke about so he spoke about the value of us expanding ownership. And as we expand ownership, those new owners can actually open new opportunities for you. That's the point. So he spoke about people are the most important asset of the organization. Although he said after branding, because he's a brand person. But the HR person will say the most important asset because the person who develops the brand is people. So the most important asset of any organization is the people. So, And it's not necessarily that because somebody has stayed too long with you, he must therefore succeed you. It's not based on age. It should be based on competency. And if you have one or two or multiple people who succeed you, it's important for you to look at their knowledge, their skill sets, their attitude sets, and to build them up along the lines of those, along the line that will make them, if any one of them becomes the CEO eventually or the MD, they will be a good MD. And one thing that I picked up is also that you don't choose an MD on basis of where you are coming from. You choose an MD on basis of where you are going. I work for a company, and an MD needed to be chosen. The problem of the company was not that of technical problem. It was not operational problem. It was a marketing problem. So, even though one of the key likely successor was a technical person, was a much more senior director, he wasn't chosen. Because the problem of the company was that of marketing. So a marketing person will be chosen, preferred over a technical person. So the future today, as it's summed up, is filled with issue traceable to that of COVID, is filled with problem of disruption, is filled with problem of volatility, problem of uncertainty, problem of chaos in the economy, problem of ambiguity, problem of risk, and problem of diversity. And the solution to all this problem as an entrepreneur is to be able to see opportunities in each of these challenges, to see opportunities in disruption by you as leaders, as entrepreneur, providing direction, to see opportunity in volatility by providing vision, to see opportunity in the problem of uncertainty by providing better understanding, to see opportunity chaos by providing clarity, to see opportunity in the problem of ambiguity by making your company to become more agile, by addressing risks with resilience, and by ensuring that diversity, you provide an environment of diverse people, divergence, that enables you to see beauty in divergence rather than problems in divergence. And when you take your eyes off the challenges, what you start to see will be the opportunities. I'm encouraged by the fact that Lulu stayed in the country because he had the opportunity to relocate. He has enough money as a century billionaire to leave the country. But still he stayed. And he will not understand how many people he is inspiring like me. And he makes very positive comments. He's a man of faith, but not religious. These are two different things. And so it's very objective as his approach and his comments on the issues of COVID since it started about 6 months ago. I think I've given a very good grasp and summary of what I believe. So I wanted you to know that I was listening. Because many of you were chewing gum. Some of you are just busy. So now that so please send on the question on the question list all the questions you have. Lulu is unlucky to have me at this side today. So no matter what his plans are, he will need to answer a couple of questions before he leaves. Lulu is very, very proud. I mean, when I use the word proud, I'm using it. He's very happy to be introduced as a Christian. He's been a Christian for many years. When I met him, he was already a Christian. And, I was told that my voice is not loud. When I put this thing too close, my voice will now look like Barry White, you know. Okay. So, Lulu has allowed his personal value to play a very critical role in the business he's running. So the issue of core value of integrity is number one in his company. I know this. And I know a couple of people have worked, and those whose values did not tally with that value of maintaining integrity, some of them found their way outside the company, and the company did not collapse. That encouraged me to realize the fact that I could choose not to do some things. So, as somebody who was heading the new Pfizer business in 1997, I chose I was not going to do any business with government. And Pfizer survived. I started to work in an higher institution, in an institution of learning, where really there's no reason to bribe anybody. You don't bribe students to come to school. So it was a safe place for me. And I realized that lecturers have a tendency of putting pressure on their students. Particularly male lecturers can put pressure on students. So we arranged that if you teach a subject, you cannot mark it. I, who is teaching similar subject in another country, we mark the scripts of your student. So if everything goes wrong with most of your students, then it means you didn't teach them well. Because if you are teaching them, you must teach them the principles that I also know. So their marking scheme, you can mark the script of other people in other country, but you cannot mark the script of people you are teaching. So that is what, that system we are put in place in Business School Netherlands. And that's why I feel that the system we are operating today, why we brought this man here today, is to allow you to know that in commerce, in entrepreneurship, you can be everything. So the first question that came in, if there's a question that is repeated, I will not repeat it for you. So I want you to take the questions step by step. One of the questions that came up is the question of, as an entrepreneur, it says, what advice will you give to other entrepreneurs to survive the current storm and the incoming storm? Just shokily. Storm of economic storm. Okay. You have mentioned the fact that the economy itself is we were in a recession before we went out of recession. This one came. And in the short term, it's not likely that there will be. What are the top 3 things you expect entrepreneurs to do to be able to manage the current storms associated with COVID and economy?
Okay, thank you very much, Larry. I think I mentioned a couple of them, but see, the most important thing, first of all, is, and I can't help using my industry as an example. You've got to be really honest with yourself and look at short term, look at it medium. It's very clear that your clients are not spending. If they are spending at all, they are owing. You can see, and that all of these are traceable to COVID. So the next thing you want to do is to sit with your very, very senior people, or if it's Yes, definitely, no doubt.
Okay.
I mean, there are so many things that give you business success. Part of it is government regulation, all kinds of things. But I don't know any country in the world. The richest man in, as terrible as, and permit me for saying so, I'm a very loyal Nigerian. I love this country. But as terrible as our regulations and work ethics and everything is, the richest man in Africa is who? Where is he from? He's from Nigeria. But you see, people talk about Aliko and say he's wealthy and wealthy. If you get close to him, if you are not hardworking, you cannot spend a week with him.
That's true.
He drives people hard. You can't. Mike Adonga will call you. Mike Adonga was my senior in secondary school. He will phone you at 2 a.m. Here, listen, oh, shame me, I hope I didn't wake. Of course, at 2 a.m. the man will know you are sleeping. Ah, sorry, Shay, I didn't wake you. And he's going to speak with you till 4 a.m., picking your brain. So it's possible. Look, everything that can make business succeed in Nigeria is there. Everything that can make business to fail is there. We have a large population, don't forget to. If all you do is import shaving stick, there must be at least 70 men who must shave.
Every day. That's true.
Apart from women who need to have very clean legs.
That's right.
It's amazing. Honestly, there are many opportunities. I know an Indian group. They came to, by the time they landed in Nigeria, they had 1,000 naira. They couldn't even afford accommodation. 3 years later or 4, they have property in Apapa. They didn't steal. They didn't import 250 milligrams of paracetamol for 500. They didn't do anything shady. They didn't do it. They did right business. And you have no idea how much money they have now. But you know, we are all just, there's a thing. The only time Nigerians show entrepreneurial spirit or work hard is when we're outside this country. Go and look at what our guys are. Forget all those boys selling drugs in South Africa. I'm not talking about them. Yeah. I'm talking about those doing legitimate. If Nigerians in America leave America today, the American healthcare system will collapse. That's Nigeria is the only single group, ethnic group in America that has the highest number of first, second degrees and PhDs. Their hospital health system will collapse if Nigerians leave. So, I mean, it's possible. We have challenges. Yes, it's more difficult to do business here, but listen to the word I want you to hear is that it is possible. There are challenges, but it is possible. If Aliko can do it, if Mike Adonga and Co can do it, you can do it, we can all do it. We can do it. What that man is building in Ibeju, we went from the office, there's nothing like it in Africa. You have no idea what is there. People are coming from other parts of the world to look at it. That Nigerian, one of his directors is my uncle, and he came to visit me and told me, I couldn't speak. Many of you here, if he comes in here, apart from the fact that he has a very famous face, you won't even know. The number of people he's employing, the wealth that is creating, fertilizer, I mean, it's just incredible. Power, so many things. One Nigeria like you, like me.
Who has seen opportunities where the rest of us have seen problems.
Pray that God will open your eyes to opportunities.
Amen. Pray
that when he opens your eyes to them, he'll teach you what to do. If you have those two, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you.
Okay. We have a question here about, some people will say during a period of recession, people should not take loan. But other people say, why is this period the best time to actually take loan? And then wrap it up with, every recession backs a new set of millionaires or billionaires. Can you explain, how does this happen? The recession fuels, this fuels money generation. So why is it the best time to take a loan? And then why is it the best time that we should be looking forward to more billionaires?
Okay. I spoke at a webinar about a week ago, and present also were bankers. And I said, look, I was speaking, I said, it's a difficult period to take a loan, but I put a proviso. If you are not making enough to pay it back. Fortunately, one of the people had worked in First Bank, a very good friend, as an executive director. So when I finished, he said, Lulu, the bankers don't want you to know, but this is the best time. And I said, why? How? He said, right now they are also under pressure. They want to lend, but they want to lend safe. And then one of you know him, the head of an agency, they are owing the bank a lot of money. 3 weeks ago, the bank called them and was begging them to please, they renegotiated for 3 years. Because what can the bank do? Seize your assets. So they seize your assets. Are they going to sell the house when nobody is going to buy it? So it's better for them to manage you. You have become a problem for them.
Yeah.
The bank sees your house in Ikoyi. Drive all through Ikoyi and VI. There are so many empty houses. I live in VGC. When I go for my exercise, I've counted over 40 duplexes empty. Take the house down, so what? Then you don't get the money. So they manage you. They need the business. Many of them also, they just retrenched. They just cut salaries. So this is the best time. If you have a good project, it's not your money. You are borrowing their money to do the business. They will support you. I learned something new from that. Then the other question was that...
Why is it that recession breeds millionaires or billionaires?
Yeah, because during recession, everybody is thinking negative. Yeah. We're in trouble at Igbe. Yeah. You see, everybody you see, eku pandemic, yo. So what are we going to do? In fact, we haven't been to the office for the last 2 months. Nobody is saying, by the way, let's talk. This pandemic is there. But I saw this, I saw that. Is this something we can... You know where they got the money during the during the depression of 1929? Those who were selling illicit alcohol in America.
Wow.
Why? During that period, people needed to drink their sorrows away.
That's true.
They call them bootleggers. The kind of thing that will give you ulcer as soon as you drink it. Not pure product. Yeah. Sorry? But people were buying it because that was what they needed. So they couldn't make enough of it. They couldn't make enough of it. Bootlegging. America, that word was created during the Depression in America. Now, I'm not asking anybody to do anything as awful as that. But honestly, as simple as food, there will always be, there are certain things. In fact, there was a World Bank research that I studied about January or February. And they are telling people that post-COVID, during and post-COVID, go into services. The services will be in demand as economies recover. Service will be in demand. So think of it. I mean, think. Larry is very good at organizing a strategy session. He has done for us before. Do a list of services that people take for granted. In fact, companies are now shutting down certain services and they're outsourcing them because it's too expensive. You get in there, it was costing them 10,000 a month, offer it to them at 7. Your costs are lower than the banks. The big gap in the realization is our inability to think as entrepreneurs. We don't see opportunities. If this country was bad, why are Chinese, Indians, Lebanese, why are they bribing to get a visa? Let's be honest with ourselves. They cry in our embassies when they deny them visas. There must be something they are seeing that we are not seeing. Honestly. So during depression, there are certain demands that are going to come. Who would ever have thought that, seriously speaking, pharmacists, I have many pharmacist friends who have shops. So if I ask them, they will never tell me, I say, well, we thank God. I say, don't thank God, tell me. Don't hide under God, tell me. Well, go bad, we are paying. I say, you are hiding information from me. The drugs we bought for 14 naira, Look at that chloroquine thing.
Hydroxychloroquine, no.
Some companies are going to sell it for 70,000.
That's
Hey! But Nigerians will buy it. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Nobody was ready to die.
Part of the challenge pharmacists having is public education.
Yeah.
A number of people believe that the drugs are too expensive when everything that is used to make the drug is imported. So when you buy a drug, when the exchange rate was $3.60,
Yeah.
and so you bought it for $1,
Yeah.
or you bought it for $1, and you wanted to sell it for 400 naira to make like 10% gain on it.
Correct.
Now the exchange rate has become 475. If you sell it below 470, if you sell it at 475, you have not made any gain. So you've got to therefore see that 475 as the new cost. In financial management, it's referred to as replacement cost.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people in FGCP see what do you call it? Federal Consumer Protection. They are ignorant of this accounting principle.
Yeah.
And pharmacists are very solid in this accounting principle because the stock that you bought 3 years ago, even you bought 5 years ago, if it has not expired, you bought it at 180 naira.
That's the cost of replacement.
So the cost of replacement today is 475.
Yeah.
That's about 3 times the original cost. So your pricing cannot be what it used to be. So if any shop is still selling at the old price, that person lacks the financial skill. That business is going to collapse.
It's a matter of time.
And so that's part of the problem. It is not that we are making, in fact, the kind of profit we are making is too low in Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country where pharmacists don't charge consulting fee. And so what we just made is like trading. But if they put consulting fee on it, our markup, our gross profit should be 50%, not 25 or 30%. So Nigerian pharmacists are actually subsidizing drugs in Nigeria. And they are being blamed for it. So, all right. So, but let's say, it's not the subject for discussion today, but it's nice for us to explain it. So, now there's a question for you. It's a question that I know the answer, but they don't. You are renowned continentally in Africa as Mr. Integrity, particularly in your industry, because of your stand and how you walked away from some accounts. Don't want to, and shady deals. Can you describe your most difficult business challenge and how did you overcome it?
In terms of client interface?
Yes, in terms of overcoming, cutting corners, shady deals, things like that.
It's for us, it was from period to period. But I don't know which one to. There are quite a few.
Yeah.
There are quite a few. Maybe the most difficult one for us was for a telco.
Yeah.
And it was quite clear. We launched them in Nigeria. We launched them when telcos were launched in 2002. We launched them. And we were doing well when the foreigners were managing the business.
Yeah.
Then management was passed on to Nigerians, and then our problem started. Trust me, it was messy. And it was a very simple proposition. We were not doing deals. We were not allowing them to make money through us. So it got so bad, they would be rude to my staff, all kinds of things. I knew I couldn't go to the board and say that we are going to leave this business. No board. They would say, Lulu, continue to. So on a Sunday, I came to the office and I drafted the resignation letter.
Oh.
But I didn't send it. I drafted it and I left it there. On Monday, I read it again. It still made sense. I do that a lot. I write something. Sometimes you write emotionally.
Yeah.
The next day you say, could I have written something like that? But it still made sense. And I sent it. And I said, we are sorry. we are resigning this. The entire industry went into earthquake.
That's correct.
You can't. It's big. Your biggest business. I said, we are resigning the business. These are our reasons for resigning the business. Now, the MD of First Bank was on the board of that company.
Yeah.
And later, I saw him again because there were issues of integrity with the bank, which he tried to resolve. He said, by the way, Lulu, I always wanted to ask you, why did you resign? I said, but you know, you are on their board. He said, yes, but let me hear it from you. I said, okay. So I told him. He said, amazing. He said, is it the same problem you're having with my bank? If I said yes, the head of corporate communication was sitting in front of us. He would have been fired immediately.
Wow.
So I said, no. He got the message.
Yeah.
Because we're having serious problem with the bank. It's all in my book. In fact, my lawyer felt that I would be charged for libel and all that. I said, let's get to that river and cross it. But so far, at least from 2018, nobody has charged me for libel or defamation.
Yeah.
So that was our most difficult one. When our directors had, well, they understood. But you could see with them that, are you sure, Lulu, you know what you're doing? But we were justified, which is the point I'm coming to. A couple of months down the line, some other people bought that business.
Yeah.
And they needed to run the media across Africa. So we were invited again, just for the media. So I went to Bahrain twice to have meeting with them, and we won the pitch. Then they said, look, why don't we give the entire business to your network in Africa? But your network is not big. So we played a major role because we had run it well. And then because I was working with Dora Akunyili as head of the branding for Nigeria, Dora was also the minister for telecoms.
Yeah.
So when we were having that meeting in India, I'll tell you, it was in Airtel. One of the things they asked me was, you mean you have access to this minister? I said, if you want me to call her now, I will. Me too, I did some shakara.
Correct.
I said, you want me to call her? You want to hear her voice? I dialed. It was easy. But the most critical thing I want to point out is we lost it because of a decision. It came back again, and it came back bigger. It came back bigger, which is really, really, it's the only reason I can sit in front of you here today and talk about it and encourage someone, because it will always happen. So there are so many. Even a major oil company, somebody who was my classmate hid our invoice for 13 months. They had to send him to Lagos Business School to force his office open because we refused to give him money. But eventually we got that money back. So there are challenges that go with conviction. If you are ready to pay the price, fine. If you are not ready to pay the price, fine as well.
That's good. One of the questions that have been asked is that a couple of people have left your organization to set up competing businesses. How does it make you feel? Betrayed? Proud?
Well, first of all, nobody likes to see any good people leave. And that's number one. Number two, I say with pride, and I'm happy that Larry is here, we're a family.
That's correct.
Honestly. Just before I go here and while I was here, even though we haven't been meeting in the office, we were chatting, the MD. We were chatting. You would never even imagine. We were chatting and laughing. It's a family. And so, you don't want people who are part of such fellowship to go away. But when they have to go away, you feel sad. But you also want to tell them when they are going that, look, try and maintain what we have maintained here. The only time I feel unhappy is when I hear unsavory things. Yeah. Because people must do what people must do anyway. But to the best of my ability, I've tried to maintain the relationship, calls, whatever, visits, hanging out, and all that. It won't be perfect. Some people will leave because they don't like, they are living with malice. It's going to be difficult to persuade them. But generally speaking, that's the way it's been.
Finally, the last question. It says, it's a common thing in Nigeria to say that management by being present. That if you want to build your business, you must be physically present. that the owner of the business must be there, physically business. Otherwise, the business will crumble. Is it a myth or a fact? How long should a business owner be fully present for a business to survive? We have seen you at a young age walk away from your business. You are still very healthy, and you are strong physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, socially, and also financially. So maybe financially is the reason you walked away and you are but at least people would like to know. How long should somebody run a business before you hand it over to somebody to do for you?
I don't think there are rules. I had made up my mind that at 60, I would relinquish the position. It's a big group. The advertising business is run by year to day.
Yeah.
I manage consulting.
Okay.
I manage government liaison.
Okay.
My biggest prayer was to find the right person to hand over to. And God in this has been quite merciful. The best plans can go awry. The person you are saying, I like Larry, is good. Larry can decide to leave, either to start something or go to another organization. You can't do anything about that. So I think God has just been merciful on us. The company is running. Somebody actually said, why didn't you wait so that your son would come and take over? I said, why? I said, tell me your best reasons for saying that. It would be nice. I said, what if he's not interested in being an advertiser? Are you going to force him?
Correct.
I know one of our egmons in the business. He has children who went to Yale and all these people. They said, we are not interested in this agency business. Correct. So what are you going to do? It's that way. It's working for us. I thank God that it's working for us. It gives me, it's the only reason I can teach at Lagos Pan-Atlantic University, go into publishing and all that and stuff. I still have the energy to do anything, but I knew I had done enough in Premier Garnet and somebody else needed to run the place.
One of the things I didn't tell you earlier is the fact that even though he lives in VGC, when his office used to be in Alausa here, he arrives in the office as early as 7 a.m. And so, for a lot of you who are people of faith and who believe that prayer moves mountains, that's correct. But prayers without work moves bigger mountains. So, it's not enough for us to just wake up in the morning and just pray. We must also work hard. He's a hard-working person. It's business ethics. It's everything that you have heard him said. And because he's the person at the center, he cannot tell you many, many things. He didn't even explain to you until you read this book that the reality of it is that he set up his own agency because he was not willing to do anything unethical. And he believed that setting up his own agency will allow less pressure. He will be able to determine who he would like to do business with. And that has been a source of encouragement to many of us who did not ever think that we could be entrepreneurs.
Let me do this because, and I hope I'm not breaching protocol. Yeah. It's necessary to say certain things at certain periods, even though it's in my book. Apart from my wife and Shola, who he knows very well, they were in the same church together. Nobody else knew I was working on an agency. It was only Larry. We went to Benin for a product launch. It must have been Osinex. So I was in his room. We were inseparable. Yeah. And we were talking. I said, Larry, I have something I want to tell you. And he said, what? I said, I'm leaving. I said, why? I said, there's no quarrel. So I told him, you see it's in a chapter in the book. Yeah. So he didn't interrupt me at all. Larry and I we went to Onitsha, that hotel where the ground was shaking. We went everywhere. In fact, I was in Kano. They had power failure at my part of the hotel. Mosquito was disturbing. At 2 a.m., I ran to come and sleep in his room. It's that kind of relationship. Yeah. So I told him, and he was quiet. Yeah. And he advised, And most importantly, he prayed. He was the third person. My wife was number one. My consultant was number two. He was the third person. So he literally speaking, can write a whole lot about me. He can say a whole lot about me. He was there, and he's been there since then. So I really will use this opportunity to thank you, Larry, again.
Thank you, sir.
You know, I mean, you have been so pivotal, and God truly bless. God bless and reward you.
Thank you so much. As we close, it's important for me to also openly acknowledge, in the spirit of integrity, that at a very rapid career growth, the organization that he was working with as an advertising agency there trained me on branding. He was the head of client service, as client service director, and I was in marketing, and we worked together to build multiple brands that accelerated my growth within a very short period. For being in the office in 85 to be on the board 10 years later. And so it's one of the destiny helpers that God used to also take me up. So thank you so much. I'm also grateful. God bless you. Now, looking back to the period that we had to stay in the same room, talk till late in the night, at times at 3 a.m., and sitting here together, was I wrong in stating at the beginning that we're identical twins?
The only difference is that he's wearing a more expensive version of my cap.
Don't mind him. Eh? The most important thing is that if we are not using glasses, you will know that we have the same height. So, for many of you who used to look down on me, when you see him, see the height in me now. Thank you, Shina, for the opportunity. God bless you.
From the first cry at birth till your last breath on earth, Reload multivitamins will always be there for you. Our infant drops for babies and pleasant-tasting syrup for kids are fortified with DHA to support proper brain development. When the demands of life begin to take their toll, Reload for men and Reload for women will be there to give you the needed boost of energy. Then, when your golden years come, Reload 50 Plus for men and Reload 50 Plus for women give you the needed support to have a smooth and healthy ride for the rest of your life. Live your life to the fullest. Ask your From the first cry at birth till your last breath on earth, Reload multivitamins will always be there for you. Our infant drops for babies and pleasant-tasting syrup for kids are fortified with DHA to support proper brain development. When the demands of life begin to take their toll, Reload for men and Reload for women will be there to give you the needed boost of energy. Then, when your golden years come, Reload 50 Plus for men and Reload 50 Plus for women give you the needed support to have a smooth and healthy ride for the rest of your life. Live your life to the fullest. Ask your pharmacist for the Reload made just for you.
Thank you, Mr. Lulu Akinwumi, for a very beautiful presentation. For the sake of those who joined us halfway, I would like
From
to
the
give a
first
small
cry at
summary
birth till your
of what
last
he had
breath on
presented.
earth, joy of weekend parties, the excitement of summer vacations. You see tall and magnificent buildings and pleasant-tasting syrup. The thrill of attending lies in the solid foundation holding them up. Do you desire smart and intelligent children who will stand strong and tall in the future? Then build a solid foundation today. Fortify their nutrition with DHA. DHA is a crucial supplement needed in the first few years of a child's brain development. Wash or sanitize your hands. While it can be found in some types of food, it is available in recommended proportions.